Hello and good morning. This is Mike Kollin at crackedfemalecode.com. Go ahead and buy my book there. All right, and remember, click the subscribe button. It's easy, and this is where I'm going to do all my video, blogging, vlogging, etc. for the summer 2014. Okay, on everything, my seminars, dates, discounts, everything. All right, so and all my tips. All right, now this one, let me get the music. It's almost over. All right. I'm going to share something with you that I think is probably the biggest shifting technique. I don't like calling it technique because it's a way of being um, that will make you a lot more comfortable meeting women because it helps them to feel comfortable with you. Now that's one of the core pieces I teach in my course that I'm finding isn't being taught in other courses. They're kind of teaching other external things. I do more of an internal thing. And that's probably one of the biggest differences between my course and other courses. So, excuse me. Let me use an example. I went out with a female friend last night, someone I've known for years. But we've never actually, I don't think we've ever gone out to a club before. Restaurants, nice restaurants. And when we got back, she was just like, that was really interesting. I go, what? She was, I noticed how comfortable women were with you. They wanted to approach you and talk to you, and they just felt so comfortable. I'm like, yeah. But why do you think that is? She goes, because you're friendly. I'm like, well, what do you mean? She goes, well, with other guys, they're nervous, they're talking fast, or they're kind of herky-jerky, or she goes, we're not really sure. They make us nervous, and they scare us. And I'm kind of giggling. She's like, well, what's funny? I'm like, well, they're scaring you because they're scared, because they're nervous. And that's what this video is about. Is in my courses, I condition into again and again and again. And a lot of guys will kind of go, why do we keep going on this? I go, you'll see. When you get there, you'll see it. All these different techniques and processes to get you to feel very relaxed with women. Very relaxed, okay? And really, it's not just women, it's anybody. So you can apply this to sales, business, communicating with your children, your wife, meeting someone new, social events. And that's what happens. A guy will take this course meaning it to be, I want to be able to meet women. I want to be able to open conversations and feel comfortable. And they'll come back to me weeks and months later. Say, God, this is amazing. I went to my yearly business party and I felt so comfortable. Everyone was like, God, you seem so different. You seem so... And really what it is, a lot of times people think they have therapeutic issues when really they don't have therapeutic issues. They have social skills issues. And that's one of the hugest things I found in my course over the years was, wow, all these people had been in therapy for years when they didn't need therapy. They needed to learn how to socialize, feel comfortable. See, when you learn how to communicate in all these different ways and read body language and be aware of spatial awareness and respect people, and there's a lot of skills I teach, all of a sudden, within a matter of weeks to months, guys will call me back and send me, like, God, my whole life has changed. I got a raise. I got bumped up to the higher position. My boss talks to me now. He opens up to me about certain problems. He never did that before. Or they'll talk about how they were just so comfortable at the business gathering, and every year that they have it, he I'm thinking of one person in particular. He's like, I hated going to those things. So let me kind of cut to the chase. So my friend said, I said, well, why do you think they feel so comfortable with me and want to talk to me? She goes, well, you're friendly. And I'm like, well, yeah. And so there's a couple keys that I teach, but there's one key that when you applied it to the other pieces, it makes it very easy to go to clubs, to meet women, to, etc. Let me adjust this a little bit. There we go. I think that's a little better. And what it is I think good thoughts of other people. And I know you've heard that ever since you were a child. You probably have. I'm sure you've heard it before. And I have. But I kind of blew it off. Like, yeah, whatever, And that's one of the things is I've learned to take one piece and do it again and again and again. And it wasn't until I took this and I thought, I'm going to see how it works. Now, it won't work unless you have self-awareness. Like you notice how, number one, how these techniques are affecting you. And how it is also subtly affecting other people when they interact with you. So I got really good at conditioning into me just by making myself do it, thinking good thoughts of others. It could be as easy as just walking into a club saying peace, love, and harmony inside your head. Or just doing a breathing technique, and just going into peripheral vision and doing... There's a bunch of techniques that I teach in my course. doing these things, and it conditions over time to where now I can walk in a club, I don't even think about it. The only thing I'm really doing now is thinking good thoughts of other people. Oh, nice, that's a nice dress, or her hair's really nice, or it could be anything. Like that person looks really like a really cool person, you know. Instead, now I used to be a fighter, boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, football, martial arts, all kinds of stuff. And the problem with a lot of fighters is they'll walk out into the real world, or even very competitive athletes, and they take that mindset, and they apply it to everywhere. So they're very competitive, or they're thinking like, yeah, I could kick that guy's ass, or if this guy does this, I'm gonna do that. And you're out in public doing this shit. It's just stupid. And I admit, I used to be one of those people. And it causes like a fear-based set. Now here's what a lot of guys do. They'll approach women thinking, well, what if she's a bitch? Or what if she embarrassed me? What if she tells me to F off and get away from me? Well, if you think those thoughts, you're going to... All right, I wanted to add this. A lot of people are like, oh, come on, that's positive thinking. Well, here's what I've noticed about positive thinking. And I don't really like positive. I don't really like that phrase, I think. Because the way a lot of people think about it is your unconscious mind. I learned this in hypnosis. You express yourself, the tone, the tempo, the rhythm, the way you talk, the slightest micro muscle movements that you don't even notice that you're giving off to people. Like you look at someone, you kind of got this look like that, and they're like, what the fuck, dude? And you may not realize you're doing it. I know I didn't until I got really good at self-awareness. And yes, that's something that I really teach, a series of different techniques to make you very aware and tuned into yourself. That is really what this is all about. You do that, meeting women's going to be a breeze. So I started really picking up on when my chest would tighten up, my back, or my eyes would squint when I'm talking to someone. And I was like, oh, and I matched it up with I'm having these kind of messed up thoughts about this person. Like, wow, I'm really giving that off and not realizing I'm doing that. So a lot of people think like, why are people mad at me, or why won't people talk to me? It's like, well, what are the thoughts that you're thinking? What are the images that you're making in your mind about these people, or about this group, or about this area, about this club? Is what I'm trying to say. Thoughts create your body language, which creates your interactions with people. So when you suddenly start thinking good thoughts of people, like, well, she seems like a really sweet person, or that's a really nice dress, she's, puts herself together very well, all of a sudden, people want to talk to you. All of a sudden, people open to you, and all of a sudden, you're more relaxed interacting with people. So that's the thought of the day, literally. Start thinking good thoughts of people. Write things down that you could think about other people, Catch yourself thinking good thoughts and begin to create good thoughts. Make this a habit. Do this one thing. It will change your entire life. All of a sudden your body becomes relaxed, your mind, you become more comfortable with people. And realize you don't have to be perfect. If you don't do it all the time, don't be hard on yourself. Don't do that, because that doesn't help. Just forgive yourself. Be more understanding. And be more compassionate, not only of yourself, but other people around you. In other words, you know what I'm saying? Don't judge. When you judge other people, then you feel like they're judging you, because you get this squinty, judgmental look. People know when you're judging them. It's real obvious. And then you get nervous because now they're looking at you that same way. And you're like, oh, God. You ever heard the thing like, when you point the finger, you got 5 fingers pointing back at you. You ever heard that one? Well, that's what it is. You're literally creating that interaction. So what I do is I teach guys how to open up, or women, and how to be more internal, which takes the pressure off other people, so they don't feel this like pressure and push, and therefore they feel more comfortable with you. So there's a lot of things I teach in my course, and you have to condition these things, master them, do them right, until they become a habit, and you don't have to think about it anymore. It's automatic. That's what my course is about. That's a piece of my course. So this is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com and CrackedFemaleCode.com. The book gives you greater understandings, but the course teaches you the stuff I'm talking about now. I don't even think I go. In fact, I know anything I said right now is not in the book. The book is separate, but a lot of people have found it to be very fascinating. Peace.